All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Eldest Daughter Saves the World with me, Coach Laura. And I think I have a real treat for you today. You get to hear two ADHD anxious women riff about their conditions, which I'm so excited about. And joining me is my dear friend, one of my best friends for a long time, Kristin Pickett. Hello, Kristin. How are you?
Hello, hello.
Glad to have you. So Kristen has a lot of things going on like I do. She's an instructional designer. She's an amazing creative, and I'm just excited to have her on the podcast so we can talk about our brains and how they're working. So yeah, it's
I'm
gonna be
excited to
good.
be here. We haven't
I know.
potted in a while.
I know. We used to podcast all the time, and you were my what do we call it? Business bestie chat, I think is what we called when we would chat. So
Yeah.
that's what we're doing now. We're having our little business bestie chat. But so, as I alluded to, we really wanted to talk to you about anxiety and ADHD, which I feel like as a woman of a certain age, I was actually just diagnosed with ADHD. I never in my life would have
One
thought
of
that I
us.
had it. Yeah, like 6 months ago. So, so yeah,
Welcome to the club.
thank you. Thank you. Well, Kristen, I don't know if you'd want to start by sharing and I can share mine too. Like how did your diagnosis come about? How did this whole thing like
So
manifest?
I was originally, okay, going way back. If you
Hmm.
are gifted and talented and a millennial, you were probably ADHD. Like, let's just say that.
Yes. Yes.
So in school, like I always got really good grades, but struggled to focus. And so
Hmm.
I got my official diagnosis when I was in like ninth grade. But
Okay.
things were different then, and they put me on Ritalin, and that did not sit well with me.
Hmm.
And then when I went into college, I didn't have insurance. So I didn't have a way to even be on medication.
Oof.
So I just struggle bust through college, but I still got good grades. We went to graduate school together. We
Hmm.
both have always excelled at the academic side of our stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so after graduate school, I went to a therapist. So I was probably like 25, 26. Brought my original diagnosis. They re-evaluated everything, and I went back on my meds. And recently, just because of some health stuff, I've had to go off my meds. I went off during the pandemic because there was a shortage of medication.
Hmm.
And then now I am off it again. So this should be an interesting conversation. But for me, it was just I can excel and I can wear 50 hats, but then there was that burnout. And that is a big
Yes.
part. And I should also mention I study and teach in my classes about ADHD and anxiety, which is also real fun because it's like sometimes I share my own stuff, but I
Hmm.
make it sound like it's somebody else.
It's easier that way. Yeah.
It is. I have this friend. No, no, no. So it for me, I think I always kind of knew I had it, but a lot of the things that they would, and I'm sure this was you too, like I would always get, it's a pleasure to have you in class, but Kristen talks a lot.
Yeah.
Well, because I have a lot to say because I'm kind of smart.
Right. Right. I never got the talks a lot. I don't know. I think it's just my personality, but I definitely had like yeah, because in the 90s were different in that way. I don't even know that if they still have gifted and talented programs like
Everybody's
we
gifted and
experienced in
talented
the
now.
90s. Yeah.
Every
And
kid is gifted.
complete and total side note, my favorite conspiracy theory currently is that those programs were training spies against Russia.
No, so
And
you told me this and I
mhm.
Googled it and that was like a real thing. And I was
Oh,
like,
you can
well,
go down a
damn.
rabbit hole. Yeah.
I was like, if I could have at least been a spy, like I feel like I'd be better off financially at this
I
point in
know
my
it's
life.
true. It's true. Yeah. And I think I told you this, like our teacher went to Russia like in like 95, 96, somewhere around in there. So that's why I
That's
think that conspiracy theory is true. Yeah.
yeah, because why else would a teacher from rural Indiana be like, I'm on my way to Russia?
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
Dang it.
So
Well, I feel like I really missed an opportunity there.
yeah. I know, right? A whole other career path. But and I think so my diagnosis I think was much different than yours. Like I mine started as just anxiety, and I don't know how many years ago. Mine stemmed from having a very stressful job, And I thought that's what the anxiety is coming from. So I went on meds like 2018, somewhere around in there, and I actually went off of them for a while because I was
I remember
fine.
that.
And then my mom passed away and just a whole bunch of
Another
crazy.
stressful
So I
job.
went back on them, and I was joking with myself the other day. I'm like, Laura, you are on 5 prescriptions now. 3 of them are for anxiety and 2 of them are hormones. So that's a whole other podcast, the hormone thing. But it just it really like came on me pretty suddenly. And then a friend of mine was like, have you ever been tested for ADHD? And she's a mental health therapist. I'm actually going to have her on the pod soon. But she gave me, I think it's the CARS test. Is that what it's called? And I was like off the charts ADHD. Well, then I started reading some of the like behaviors with that. And like, you all can't see because I strategically placed my laptop, but my desk is covered in things. And like, that's what, stacking in piles and that kind of a thing. Like, I've always done that. And I think it's genetic. Like, I was talking to my dad and he's like, I think I might have it too. And I'm like, I think you might. So it's just funny. Like, that's how it manifests for me. And just this, like you said, the burnout, like I feel like I go 90 miles an hour and then I'm that crash test car that just bangs into the wall, then I repair, then I start up again. And it's just this cycle of like, and I try to recognize it and keep myself out of that burnout cycle, but it's very hard sometimes.
Well,
So
a lot of people that have either ADHD or OCD, it stems from anxiety because
mhm.
your anxiety is there and you don't recognize it.
Yeah.
And so then you're doing these other things to be able to like cope with it. And a lot of it has to do like mine was a lot from my like having a traumatic childhood. So it's
Hmm.
like, well, I have to be really good in school, which means I have to do this. And everybody's ADHD, I mean, it's on the autism spectrum. So it's
Hmm.
very different for everyone. Like
Right.
Laura's been in my house and she could tell you this. I am not a piler.
Not
I
at
am
all. I'm
organized
so
AF.
jealous, honestly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I've always been that way as an adult. As a child, no, I was sloppy as shit. Like there was
Hmm.
always stuff everywhere. But I think a lot of things again come down to that root cause of your anxiety, which is why therapy goes really well with ADHD. And that's why not everybody with
Hmm.
ADHD has to be on medication. Like
Right.
both of us have been on are off medication and done just fine.
Hmm.
Everybody is different. And I think that's why I probably studied it in school too, because it's fascinating to me how it manifests differently.
Yeah. And, and I feel like too, we're in this generation of like constantly overstimulated, right?
Constantly getting
Because of
screwed over.
exactly these catastrophes have been happening since the beginning of our lives. And I'm not saying like every generation has catastrophes, but
But
ours are
ours has been
just
like since we graduated high school.
exactly. It's like a domino effect. I mean, it was like 9/11 and then the recession, and then all of us are graduating college.
Housing.
Yeah, you can't get a job, and then the housing crash, and then it's just all these things. And we're supposed to try to, and I could go on all day about this, but like we're supposed to try to follow this prescribed path. And I think for me, that's how my ADHD is starting to manifest now of like, I'm a lot better off when I'm not on that traditional track. And so that 9 to 5 job, like the idea of that just, I just can't
And
do it
see,
anymore.
I've never had that because I
Yeah.
graduated and I was a professor. And so, like, I've
Hmm.
always made my own schedule. I've always done my own thing. And so,
Yeah.
that idea of going to a 9 to 5, hate, because
Hmm.
that's not how I operate.
Yeah.
Because people with ADHD, we tend to be, and anxiety, very creative people,
Hmm.
very like, figure it out on your own because if you can't, then your anxiety becomes worse.
Yeah. And I
If
think
you Google,
because of my ADHD and anxiety too, I work a lot faster than the average
uh-huh.
person. So because I have to focus. I can't stop and talk to you or I'll talk to you all day. I got to focus and get my stuff done. So then the work that it takes someone, at a normal pace, 40 hours to do, I'm doing in like 28 and then I'm twiddling my thumbs for the
Might
other
be
12
much quicker for
hours.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that becomes really frustrating because you're professor that's always worked to my advantage because I've never been one of those professors. It's like, let me give you all this busy shit to do because I
Hmm.
personally hate that. So I think sometimes these little mental health quirks, they help you in your career because
Yeah.
then you're able to be like, well, I would never do that to myself. So I'm not going to do it to you.
Right.
And you're more conscious of people's anxiety when you have it yourself.
Correct. Yeah.
I think it helps me be a better human, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like
Absolutely.
I
I mean, I
treat
have
people
that with the
differently.
store. Like, I have a group of moms. If someone calls and tells me that their baby is sick, I'm not going to be like, well, you said you'd work at the store. Like, we'll just close the damn store. It's not that deep. Like, you know what I mean? Nobody's going to die because they didn't get their laundry detergent today. It's, and that may be a terrible business model, but like, I'm sorry, their families come before the store, even though it's my store. Like,
But I also think that's because our empathy levels are different, but we're very empathetic people.
mhm,
And so it's like
yeah,
we always try to put our what would my actions make this other person feel like? Because that's an anxiety thing. You're like, I don't want to make anybody feel like shit. I don't want to make
mhm,
anybody feel the way that I've felt in the past.
right, right.
So it's not like you baby people, but I think you approach situations like anxiety it sucks, right? Being medicated sucks, but at the same time, I
Yeah.
feel like it helps me in my everyday life.
Yeah, it does. And it's one of those things like it's hard because you can't see it, right? Like my
Yeah.
husband can tell when I'm anxious, but most people can't. And so I'm over here trying to take deep breaths so you don't have a panic attack. And for me, there's not really a lot of rhyme or reason as to what triggers me feeling really anxious. And so, um,
It
which
can
remind me, I
vary.
want to talk about medication here in a second, but like
Good old meds.
I just have to know, like, I teach yoga. I should know how to take deep breaths and, like, you know what I mean? But
But those aren't breaths for anxiety. Those are breaths for yoga.
yeah, exactly. But I think it's interesting because your logical mind knows what you need to do, but your body's like, tiger's chasing us. We're not having it right now. You're in that fight or flight. And I think that's a lot of the things that we do daily cause us to be in that fight or flight, right? Like we're always on the internet comparing and scrolling and taking in so much information that your brain's like, I haven't even processed last night. Why are you throwing 15 videos at me this morning? So, yeah, it's hard.
No, I totally agree with that. And I think that the way that our world has been since we were like in our 20s,
Mhm.
because so long ago, um, I think that has piled on the
Ugh.
anxiety too. And when
Yeah.
you are overachievers and you're gifted, you kind of overlook yourself because you're trying to do this like checklist
Hmm.
of things. And so then I don't know. I'm the same way. Like, I can help somebody else who's anxious. Like, I did it as part of my career when I was working in mental health. Like, I can talk you down from a panic attack, but if I'm
Hmm.
having one, I'm probably going to be like rocking in the corner of my room by myself because
Yeah.
it's different.
Right. Right.
And also, deep breathing pisses me off. I can't do it as my like calm
Mhm.
down thing. It does
Yeah.
not work.
No, because sometimes your body physically cannot take a deep breath. Like it just, and I know like the single most healing thing anybody can do for any disease is a deep breath, right? Like that is the best medicine there is, but sometimes you just can't do it. Your body is so clammed up that you can't function with it. It's yeah.
But when I was younger, I didn't recognize that. Like, I didn't know why I would get so worked up because like and you know this about me, I'm a mad crier and I
Hmm.
never understood like why I was like that. And then
Yeah.
as I got older, I realized, oh, that's like one of my anxiety things. Like that's one of my ways of coping
Hmm.
is to just have a crying meltdown because I'm pissed, not because I'm sad.
That's the only time I cry is when I'm not a crier, but you
We're
make me
neither of
mad.
us are, but if we're mad,
Oh, yeah, the tears are coming. And that's a great lead in to talk about medication. And I think it's taken me a little bit. And the reason I've had to add other medications into my regimen with my doctor is I was on a medication. I was not having anxiety attacks. It was working great. I also had no emotion whatsoever. Like I would literally
flat
be in a
Laura.
situation and I'm like, I should be crying right now. So my doctor's like, I think we've numbed you a little too much. So let's
Let's
start
pull
to
it
get
back.
some of the good stuff back in. So then she added something. And now I feel like I have a healthy range of emotions because mine is not because I don't want to feel my emotions. It's just like this unseen force that
But you
I
don't want to
can't
feel
do.
too much.
Right.
That's that balance. Are you
Yeah.
on so like I have an anxiety med and then I have a rescue anxiety med for when I'm like really freaking out. Do you have that kind of thing or do you
I
take
don't
all
have a
yours every
rescue.
day?
Nope, nope, I don't have a rescue. I have a morning and an evening, and then one of those new add-ons that they have. That's what I have, and that's just because I've had a really crazy situation going on lately. But um, Yeah, it's
Well,
working.
I will tell you something my doctor, and I think I actually have shared this with you, but I think it's important to share with anybody that has anxiety. My doctor told me that if you're about to have a panic attack or you're really anxious, a Benadryl helps. So my rescue
Interesting.
is actually like a form of Benadryl.
Okay.
Um,
You did tell
but
me
it
this.
does,
Yeah.
it helps. And it's something that we used when I worked in mental health too. Like if people weren't on a medicine for it and they were, I mean, you don't always know yourself what a panic attack is, but as
Hmm.
a provider, you would be aware.
Right.
It's because Benadryl just slows down your bronchial tubes. And
Ah,
so
those
I
deep
always
breaths.
tell people if you're anxious to keep a Benadryl like somewhere,
Yeah.
because that can be your thing if you don't. I mean, because let's be honest, not all of us are medicated. Not all of us can afford it.
Hmm. It's true.
Because why would we make
I
it when
also
people?
I completely understand not wanting to be medicated. Like
Yeah, I mean,
that's
I
a
went through that.
valid.
I was off of anxiety meds, and then my little dog Maggie passed away right before the pandemic, and
Yeah.
then the pandemic happened. I contacted my doctor, was like, "We're going back. Like
Yeah.
I've been off for years, but we're going back because I cannot handle gestures around like
Right.
everything."
Well, and it was funny when I went off of mine because I had was talking to a friend and I was like, "Well, how do you know when you're ready to be off?" And she's like, "I don't know how to describe it. You just know."
You
And
feel
like
it.
she's right. Yeah.
There's a feeling where you're like, I feel good. And for me, I actually had been lowering mine and was just about to be done again. Because it seems like
Hmm.
for me, it's like every few years, like maybe 3 years ish. And I think some of that is world related,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
And I was just about to do it and I was laid off my job. So I was like, oh, maybe we need more meds. Like,
Yeah. Maybe this is not the time.
we're going to wait on that.
Oh, I love it because I mean, and yeah, and it's like, and that's what I want to share on the podcast with everyone. Like, there's no right or wrong way to handle these things. Like,
No.
you have to do what works for you. Like, even us, like, we're very similar in a lot of ways, but like, we tackle our things way differently
Mm-hmm.
just with, the doctors that we have. And, I have teenage kids, and so that's a different thing. And you
That's
know
a
what I mean?
different
It's just,
anxiety.
yeah, you know what I mean? It's just a different thing. I'm taking care of my dad, you're taking care of your brother. Like, and I forgot to ask you that, Kristen. Oh my gosh, where are you in the birth order of your family?
So I am the youngest. There's two of us, but I'm technically the eldest daughter because I'm the only daughter.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm the eldest granddaughter, which, if you know my family like Laura does, the granddaughter order is much more important
Of course.
because my grandparents like raised us. And so
Hmm.
I was the eldest granddaughter, and that's probably why I'm slightly bossy sometimes.
Yes. I love it so much. No, and I think, yeah, I think the difference where you are in the birth order between daughters and sons, as much as we don't want to bring gender into it, like
No,
there's a
it
difference.
matters.
Yeah, there's
It
difference.
matters.
So I see it. I can tell you're an eldest daughter because yeah, it's
I
and
got
you're
that
the one
vibe. I've
you
always had
take
that
care of your
vibe.
brother, you took care of your grandparents, like just all the things. You took care of your uncle, like
I've been
yeah,
a caretaker my entire life. I want somebody to take care of me.
yeah. So that probably didn't add to your anxiety or
Yeah,
ADHD at
I
all.
was
So
never. So my dad passed away when I was really little, and my mom was sick, and then my brother has autism. So like, I feel like I just came out of the womb before I could even talk. I had anxiety. Like, just
you just came
here
out
you
with a
go,
clipboard because you're
generational
in charge.
trauma.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm trying to think if there's anything else we wanted to talk about with when it comes to all of this. I think, oh, let's talk about really quickly, like what are some strategies that you have that help you like work through some of this?
So I'm glad you asked that because that I feel like is very important, and
Mhm.
something that I was thinking of. So everybody handles whether it's stress, anxiety, ADHD. Everybody kind of deals with it differently. And for me, ADHD wise, it's checklists. I have had a planner since I could write, and
Mhm.
I make checklists and I get my stuff done. And then for my anxiety side, I am very big, and Laura knows this, on journaling, like journaling and doing
Mhm.
creative stuff. I'm sitting in a room that is literally just my craft room.
Yeah.
That is what helps me, because otherwise I think I would be a shit show. So
Mhm.
I already know your stuff, but share yours
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, so I also am a list maker. Like it's the
Love a
dopamine hit
list.
for me, right? Like I love crossing a thing off a list.
Yes.
but it also helps when my brain's pinging in 800 directions, and especially me, and a lot of it's self-inflicted. But I have a store, I have a yoga studio, sometimes I have a 9 to 5 job. Like I just have all these things that I have to keep track of. And so it
Color
helps
coding.
me. And I have like a list with sections for each area of my life. So oh, I need to pay dad's insurance. I need to do this, just those kinds of things so I can keep everything straight. So that's definitely one way. As far as the anxiety and the ADHD, I think my single best tool is that I give myself time to play dumb games on my iPad.
And
Like
she
these
does. I've seen this for real in
this
real life.
mindless, like right
And
now
we
I'm
do
real
it
into
together.
Goblin Miner, where they just mine the goblins mine gold, and it's so like it's so
I have a friend that
ridiculous.
plays a power washing game for hers.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's
Power
these,
washes.
yes, these silly games. And I think what it does is it gives my brain something to focus on that is
That's
low
not important.
stakes. Right. Not important at all. It doesn't matter if my goblins don't complete their task. Like it's fine.
I have been playing Candy Crush since like 2004
Since way
because
back.
that's my
Remember in
thing.
college when Snood was a thing? I
Oh
think this
my
is like
God, Snood in a
I think this is
Farmville. That was
has
the big
goes
one.
back that far. Honestly,
Oh my
no. I
God.
think it goes back further when my parents got me a Game
Dude.
Boy and it had Tetris. Like,
I mean, yes.
yeah.
Our generation, I think video games came in at a perfect time because, yes, our
Hmm.
parents had like Atari and stuff, but it was different.
Hmm.
I think the games that came in and then their phone games, they're just distractors. And you're right. They're
Yeah.
like, I used to play Angry Birds all the freaking time. Why? Because it's
Yes.
not something I don't have to excel at it. I don't have to get things done.
Mm-mm.
Good. That's good. And we will sit when we live far apart now, not
Yeah.
far. It's a car
Boo.
ride. But we used to live around the corner from each other, so it does feel far. But we will hang out and we will just sit and watch TV and play dumb games or go to the casino.
Hmm.
Um, and it
Couch
just helps.
rotting. I highly recommend for anyone that doesn't do it. Just get a friend that you can sit in silence with,
And
have
eat
some
snacks.
snacks. It's the best. Like
I agree. 100%.
yeah. And I will agree with you too on the crafty thing because and Kristen knows this about me, and you may kind of notice it if you're watching the video. Like I'm fidgety. Like I've been fidgety
Gotta
my
do
whole life.
something.
And so I crochet a lot because it just helps my hands have something to do. So that
As a
really,
sidebar, my grandmother taught her to crochet and could
she
never
did.
teach me to crochet. And Laura became the favorite granddaughter of my family because she picked it up so damn quick. Just want to throw that in there.
Well, if it makes you feel better, my friend Joni became the favorite granddaughter of my grandpa, so it's fine. It happens
Oh,
when your friends move in, so
yeah.
it's fun. But yes, Kristen and I, my mom's name is Rita, and Kristen's grandma's name is Rita, so we have the Ritas watching over us and telling stories about them, and
They
it's
send
fun.
us cardinals and
They do.
sometimes
They
make
do.
really good things happen in our life.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, Kristen, I'm going to end there. But I want to ask you if somebody's listening to this and they remember nothing else that we talked about today, what do you think they should remember?
I read this quote, and this quote sticks with me. And so I want to share this with other people. Almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including yourself.
I love it. So,
And I
yes.
fully believe in that. When things suck, unplug.
Yep. Yep. I love it. And that can just be, I know the youths, they say touch grass or whatever, but like seriously, go put your feet in the grass.
I do that.
Yeah.
It's part of
100% works.
unplugging.
I'll be woo yogi here. Grounding works. Yeah.
Agree.
It does. It does.
It's
Well,
been great chatting with you.
I know it's so good to be podcasting. And I'm gonna make her be a frequent guest. So I hope you enjoyed
We can
listening
just
to
do
us.
like an ADHD anxiety pod every so often.
Yeah. It's just so prominent. We're gonna do it all the time. It'll be great. It'll be great. Well, Kristen, where can folks find you? Because you have some really cool social media stuff going on.
So you can find me on Instagram at Kristin Ann Plans. And I'm sure Laura will share that somewhere so you spell it right. And then you
Kristen
can
with
also
an
find
I.
me. Yeah,
Yep.
Kristin with an I and Ann with no E. God. And then you can also find me on TikTok, which I don't use a ton, but I do review stuff on there, and that's Kristin Ann Creates.
Very cool. Very cool. So, and she's got some really cool stuff that she makes. So you'll have to
If
keep
you
an eye
like
out.
journaling and stuff, you go look there.
Yes, it'll be great. Awesome. Well, my love, thank you. This was so wonderful
That's so
to
much
chat.
fun.
And yeah, I'm so glad we're back at it. So, all right,
We're back.
everyone, we'll see you soon. Thanks for joining us.